Hi everyone. In this video we're going to look at conditionals. Conditionals are simply if statements. And so what happens is the code runs and it comes to an if statement, and if the statement is true, then a special set of code is executed. And that's all it pretty much is. So let's, as an example, let's suppose we have this cat here and we want to write some code so that whenever the cursor appears over top of the cat jumps out of the way and says, "Stop that." So to write that code, what we'll do is we'll start in the control section with a forever loop. And now we'll take our conditional, the if statement here, and we'll put it inside the forever loop. And what we want to say is find the condition that the cursor is touching the cat. So to do that, let's go to sensing. And here, this first item, touching the mouse pointer. So we've got a forever loop. If we're touching the mouse pointer, then we want to say stop that. And maybe we want to also, we want to jump out of the way. So let's see, we'll move maybe, well, I don't know, 100 steps, say. And while we're at it, let's rotate a bit, 15 degrees. So let's go over this. We're running through the code. And most of the time, this if statement is going to be false. It's not going to be touching the mouse pointer. And so it's going to bypass all this code, go to the end, loop back, bypass, loop back. It's going to go around and around in a loop with the if statement always false. But every once in a while, the if statement will be true, and then these three lines will be executed, and then it will go back up into the forever loop again. So let's give it a try. We'll run the code. So the code is running right now, and it's looping through that forever loop, but never executing anything. Now let's move the mouse over top of the cat. So as you can see, it's running, and every time we move the cursor over, it moves, cat jumps aside and changes spots. Okay, so let's stop the forever loop and just move the cat back. So that's one loop. That's one type of if statement. The other type of if statement is an if-then-else. So what the if-then-else does is basically, if the first condition is satisfied, then it runs the code. Else, it runs some other code. So if we look in the control area, here's an example of an if-then-else structure. Okay, let's write another program. In this case, what we'll do is we'll have the cat maybe bouncing around the screen. We'll have it bounce off the walls back and forth, and whenever my cursor goes over top of the cat will say hello, and it will stop for a second. Okay, so again, we'll start off with a forever loop. Then we'll put the if-then-else inside. Now, what we want, again, is from the sensing operators, we want to sense whether it's touching the mouse pointer. If the cat is touching the mouse pointer, then we want to say hello. Maybe we'll just say hello for 2 seconds. But if it's not touching the mouse pointer, then it's going to move. So we'll have it move 10 steps. And if it reaches an edge, we'll bounce off it. Okay, so let's go over the code again. We'll just walk through it. So this is a forever loop. It's going to come down here. Is it touching the mouse pointer? No, it's not. So it goes to the else. Move 10 steps and check to see if you're on the edge. Is it touching the mouse pointer? No. Go to the else, move another 10 steps, and so forth. But if at some point it is touching the mouse pointer, it says hello for 2 seconds, and it doesn't move, so it basically just stops, and then it goes to the end and loops around again. Okay, let's try running it. So there's the cat. It's bouncing off the walls. So it's going around this loop over and over again, and it's only doing the code in the else side because my mouse isn't over top of it. Now I'm going to move my cursor over top of the cat. Hello. And I'll leave it, and it goes back running the else side of things. And when the cursor is over top, it's running the if side of things. And so that's an if then else. And I'll stop it here. Okay, so those are the two kinds of conditional statements. Again, these are used in just about every computer language. So if you understand how to use it in Scratch, you'll understand it also in other languages like C and PHP and so forth. So the basic one is just an if some condition, then you do code, and the other one is if some condition, you do some code, otherwise you do some other code.